Hi guys, Squirrel here. Welcome to another episode of my realistic playthrough on Derail Valley. We are up at the machine factory. The D6 is chugging away over there. And if you remember, at the end of the last episode, I said to you we're going to head up to the food factory with a lot of buses. We haven't been, I don't think, to the food factory in this playthrough. We're currently here. We're going to go up through the Iron Mine West and then take this route up through here. I don't think we've done it. I may be wrong. When we get to the food factory, we'll see what there is to do. We're obviously on the lookout now for the S282 and the SO60, so we need to keep our eye out for that. And also, we've not been to this military base yet, and we do now have access to it. So we've got some options. It depends what happens up at the food factory. There's also the oil refinery, depending on where we end up going. So, there's definitely options here. But let's get this job handed in. And let's make tracks up to the food factory. Okay, let's release the brakes. Lights are on. I think we're due some rain. So we need to watch out for that. What is the total weight on this thing? 220 tons, okay. Absolutely nothing for this beast. Let's set some points on the way. So we're going to go from here. We're heading north to the Iron Mine West. We're going to keep left towards the food factory. If we have a look at the Iron Mine West, when we come into it, we'll be coming in from the... That's the north there. So this is the... This diagram's quite deceiving. I'll tell you why it's deceiving. It's to do with the orientation of the Iron Mine West. It's a bit of a... You've got to rotate this in your head. But the north side is actually where we're coming in. So we're coming in from the north, which means we're coming in from this side here. And what we want to do is go straight through. So we want to take a right and a left. We could stop here, but it's kind of pointless. Iron Mine is not going to have anything for us going to the food factory, of that I'm sure. However, it will have stuff going to the steel mill, but we're not going to the steel mill. So we'll just keep going. Into the food factory, we need to go into C6I, so let's have a quick look at that. Food factory layout. Now, we'll be coming in from the south on the food factory. So that being the south is here. And we need to go into C yard. So we need to keep right, then keep left into the C yard. And I think it said 4I, so it's right, left from the south. Right, left into 4I. No, we're going to 6I. Okay, right. No, 6I's there. Left, then right. Left, right into 6I. There we go. I got mixed up. It's not 4I. So yeah, we've been to the Iron Mine West before. We know that it's basically it's a drop down here, a bit of a sharp turn there, and then it's a very sharp climbing turn through there. We'll pick it up on the way out to the Iron Mine West, because I don't think you've seen that bit of track here. I do hope I'm right about that. It's quite an interesting journey along that north there. Well, we're on the north side now. Basically, this is a very long tunnel up here. It's a climbing tunnel through there. And we've just broken out here. There's the valley with the water. We're still climbing up through the tunnel. It's just about starting to flatten off. And then we basically round this corner here. And then, if I remember, it's may even be a climb up through there as well. I don't come this way too often. We just need to watch our speed. But yeah, not the best view in the world. But, that's the rain for you. Very misty in the valley. Let's keep the power going. I could actually switch over to the DH4 at this point, because we don't need all this power to get us out of here. But, we're being paid, what, 60k or something? So that's 90 with a bonus. We can afford the fuel bill, I think. We just take it into a service yard and throw some diesel in it. We'll be good. But yeah, normally this is quite a pleasant run over the valley on a nice day. It kind of reminds me of Scotland, this bit, in that it's like going around a loch, and you never know. It's either going to be really bad weather or really nice weather, but both can be interesting. Let's get the dynamic brake on, because we are going around a slow corner. Dynamic brake on the DE6 is so good. Really powerful. There we go. Just keep our eye on the incline. That's the 40 there. And then, yeah, I can't remember if that's down or up. I've got a feeling it's up. And then... Oh, it's a food factory. I know it's out the food factory. It's a climb out of here, so it might be down here. So in other words, we might be going up this way and then down into the food factory. We'll definitely be going down into the food factory from this direction. Of that I know. Because I've hauled heavy stuff out the food factory, and it's basically in a basin. No matter which way you go, you're facing a climb. It can be, if you overload yourself at the food factory, it can be quite a mess trying to get out of there. But yeah, I love the raindrops. But notice on the raindrops as well, they still catch the red light. See that? It's a little detail, but it's really nice. I think we might need a quicker wiper. Yeah, we are facing a slow climb at the moment. But so far, so good. So yeah, the weather's gone progressively worse. It's gone into full-on Dracula mode where it's just constant lightning. I'm just managing the speed here. We've got, look at that gradient, look at this. And we've got a junction coming up. That was a severe drop to accelerate you down to this junction. Now if you go on right, that 20 turn, you're probably going to get wrecked. Just beware of that if you ever come in this direction. Absolute nightmare that is. Let's get rid of the brakes. Now, 2.2% gradient, we shall see. We use a dynamic brake. This is the drop I was telling you about all the way into the food factory. When you're coming out the food factory, this hill can be absolutely brutal if you're pushing your weight. There's no real place to get a good run up. All you can do at the food factory is try and back up. But you can see that bend there, so you can't even take a good run up. In either direction. From this direction here, if you get a run up, you've got to hit a sharp bend. And if you're trying to take a run up in the other direction, you've got to go through the bend before you can even get the power on. So you do have to watch what you take on at the food factory. Speaking of which, I think we'll probably, because we're half a tank here, and I don't really know where we're going, I think we'll take some fuel on board at the food factory, because if we do end up going up to the Iron Mine East or military base, there isn't a diesel service in any of that northeast corner, so it would be wise to fill up here. But just coming down here is just all about speed management, really. We are going into the sea yard, which will see us go straight in, so we're not going to be shifting over too much, so we can come in at 50, be absolutely fine. I kind of feel like the rain in Derail Valley, they need to pare back the whole lightning thing. I feel, I don't know how you feel, but I feel it's too frequent and it happens too often. And what I mean by that is, when you do get lightning, the lightning strikes are so frequent, it's ridiculous. It is like a Dracula movie set. And the second thing is, it can't just, like, it just needs to rain sometimes. It just needs to rain and not have lightning with it. Just rain is fine. You know, you think about how many times it rains where you are, and then how many times it has lightning. You get far more rain than lightning. So I just really dial it back a little bit. I know the lightning effect's cool, but if you keep getting it, it becomes a little bit... Really? Just my thought on it anyway. I do like the rain. You know, it's great. You really feel like it's chucking it down, and I love that. I just feel the lightning's overdone. Right, let's get some more dynamic brake on, because here's a big drop. We just went through a 4% killer drop into a 50. And hopefully we've set our switches up, because if we haven't, we're in big trouble. And this is the sea yard here. There's a passenger terminal over there. This is looking pretty good. 6i. Perfect. Well, I'm going to turn the dynamic brake off and jump out here. And we'll just use the remote to bring it to a stop. We can't slam the brakes on. It is very wet. That looks pretty good to me. Lovely. A nice easy 90k. Let's get that handbrake on. The other thing is, if you're not playing in realistic mode, you can actually use the remote to do all this coupling and decoupling. But if you play it in realistic mode, then you don't get that choice. You basically have to manually couple and uncouple it. Look at that. Just got wheel slip on a D6. The sand got deployed. That's crazy. Right, what we're going to do is... Actually, no. What we'll do is we'll leave that running. No, I won't. I'm not going to leave that running. That's just a waste of fuel. I'm going to kill that. I'm going to brake cut that out. I'm going to start this. And brake cut that in. Because we're just going to take it over to the service yard. I can't remember if we went here and had a look around for a museum piece. But I'll have a quick look around before we leave here, just to make sure there's nothing left. Let's get this handed in. Go, nice 90k. Lovely jubbly. That puts us up to 926. And it's generated a shunting job to unload that for another 90k. That's absolutely bonkers. There you go, scrap metal to the steel mill. Look at that. I don't know why we've got scrap metal at the food factory. I can only imagine it's just like lots of tins. But it is kind of crazy. Okay. Okay, I need to have a look through these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly take us over. So we're here, so I need to pull forward. What you can, there's different ways in, but basically the service yard is, that's the turntable. There's loco spawn here, but the service centre's here. And depending on which way we want to head out, I kind of want to stay facing east, I think. So what I'll probably do is pull forward and then reverse back through the D yard, because the D yard has a loading bay, which means we can go left like that. Let's make sure they're switched. We can go left through the loading bay and then pull forward into the service centre. And then I'll have a look around the yard and see if I can see any museum pieces, but we'll get this all serviced up. Sand is getting deployed, wheel slip galore. What was the forecast? Was it now 4 PM? Yeah, looks like even heavier rain here, and then it's gonna go later on today. So yeah, we may be better off sleeping for a while, I don't know. Alright, this is the de-loading bay here. And I am just looking around to see if I can see any museum things. I think there is a spawn area around here. I seem to remember. And the service yard, I think, is that building there, if I remember. Yeah, this is effectively like a food packing plant, and these are the containers of stuff. If you look at the D yard, it's a storage bay with an input line. So this is an input line here. So this has obviously just come in, and the others are just storage bays for stuff that's being loaded to go back out again, or logistic runs, etc. They basically take meats from the farm. They'll take I can't remember if they take the metal or the cans from somewhere. And then they pack food and send it on its way. Tins of spam, basically. Ooh, DM3 and a D2. Right, I don't want to get wet, so I'm not going to jump out. I'll hit the brakes there. Not seen any locos yet. Alright, if we put it into forward, we can switch set that back. just easy on the power when it's raining. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here. I can't remember if you've seen the SO60 before. I really can't remember. We might have seen it in one of the very early episodes. But we couldn't recover it because we didn't have the license, or maybe I just misremember. What's the time of day? 4:30. Let's get the brakes on. Stop. Alright, that should do us. Oh my word. You gotta love a tin roof. Flippin' heck. Right, what are we looking at? Hopefully it's just oil and diesel really. Bit of sand maybe. Okay, and next one. Okay, that is 14k. I mean, considering the money that we've earned for that 14k, that is amazing value. Right, I'm just going to have a quick look around this yard, see if I can see anything. I don't think there is anything, but I'll have a quick look anyway, and then we'll have a look at our jobs. Right, I've had a look around, and I can't see any museum pieces out there. I didn't think there was. And given that it's chucking it down with rain and it's about to become night time, and I don't really like the look of any of these jobs here, to be honest. They're not really going where I want to go. I could do that quickly, but frankly, we've got the money. We don't need it right now. And this one kind of goes back to steel mill, scrap metal, so nothing's going where I want it to go. So what I propose to do is I will basically drive the two locomotives. We'll basically drive it up to the iron mine east. And then by the time I get up there, hopefully the rain stopped, and I can sleep through the night. Because what I plan to do is try and get a job out of Iron Mine East with a load of iron ore, which is obviously very heavy, which will no doubt want to go to the steel mill. And at the same time, I'll line a job up here, and then I'll nip over to the military base and see if we can pick something up that's going to go down to the harbour, is the plan. And then what we'd then do is basically take both of them, and on the way I'd take the iron ore round that way to steel mill, drop it, and then keep going and get down to the harbour. You can get to the harbour from the military base a different way, but if I want to actually go to the steel mill with some iron ore, I need to kind of go that way. So we'll see. Anyway, we'll drive up there to the Iron Mine East and take a look. Alright, it's been a bit of a long grind as it is, up towards the military base and Iron Mine East. This is why you don't come here very often, to be honest. However, I know we're driving up here and we're not getting paid, but I am hopeful that we'll make the money on the way back. That's my thinking. I also wanted to show this area, but at the moment it's chucking down with rain, so I think tomorrow when it's sunny, on the drive back, we'll see more of it. We've just passed this junction here. We're about to enter the Iron Mine East. If you have a quick look at the map of it, what we're going to want to do is turn around. You can turn around. I think this is a 20 limit around here, so just be aware of that. Let me slow it down. So we're going to want to come in and hang a left. Well, it doesn't really matter which way you go, does it? I tend to go left because this is the usual drop-off point. So we'll go left into the C yard. From here we'll go around that way, so straight into C. We can drive straight through, so right then left. We'll basically park up here and see what we're dealing with. In terms of B yard, we're going to go through the loading bay, and then to go through B, we'll come in from this side, so right then left will take us straight through. So that's currently set up to loop straight through the iron mine. Plan is pull up, go in, probably have a sleep, have a look at the job situation, and see if we can line something up that's going to go back to the steel mill. It is dependent on what we're hauling out of the military base, but the military base tends not to have really heavy things. I think the heaviest stuff is the nuclear waste, or the tier 3 is what it's called, classified is what it is. They don't tell you what it is, and they don't declare the weight on it properly either. It's quite amusing. So when we do buy that tier 3 license, we'll be hauling boxes. We think we know what the weight is, but it's not. And I think it's probably like spent uranium or something like that, so it's really heavy. It'll say on the side of the box 12,000 kilograms, but it'll actually weigh a lot more than that, so it's something to be aware of. We are right turning into the iron mine, I believe. This is our turn, or have I got it wrong? This may well be the wrong one. Let me have a quick look on the map. Left turn here, right turn there. Yeah, we're currently here. We're just going through this bit. That goes down to the coal mine east. That is a very interesting hole. That's a deep drop down to the coal mine. One of the original spawn areas that was. Well, say spawn areas. One of the original parts of the map, the coal mine. And it's a heck of a climb out of there. This branch here was added much later. That never used to exist. I don't think I've driven that, actually. That's something we need to do on our bucket list. Maybe when we get a steam train or something, maybe we'll do the 282 out of the Museum 282 and see if we can haul some coal. Something like that. Anyway, this is the turn to the iron mine is here. And it's marked by a steep drop. It's quite amusing. When you're coming out the iron mine, the first thing you face is a run up that hill. And it's quite a gradient, so I'm just going to slow down because we will pick up speed when we make this turn. Again, because of the weather, I can't really show you particularly interesting scenery at the moment. You can see it's got a 40 limit and a 1.1% gradient. Oh, there's another DH4 there. That's quite nice, actually, because that could be useful. If we do find something particularly heavy, we can always stick another DH4 on the back of this. I'm just going to get the dynamic brake in one notch just to control the descent. There's our left turn with a 40 limit. So yeah, if you do take a job out of here, you can find yourself struggling to even get out the yard. It's looking good. Lovely. Yep, there's the DH4. Right, let's kill the dynamic. Yeah, luckily this is a loop, so we can loop back over here, and we could add this on if we want it. Right, I think anywhere down here will do, and good riddance to this weather, quite frankly. I need to go and check the fuel situation on that DH4 because it has burned a fair bit coming out of that food factory. Yeah, I don't know what the elevation is here. I wish it kind of told us what the elevation was. But we are quite elevated from the harbour, I will say that much. Let's get the brakes on. And we shall cut the engine. Now, I'm just going to put the handbrake on D6 just so none of that goes anywhere. And we shall have a sleep and see what the job situation is. Right, it's early in the morning, just after 6, I think. There it is. It looks like it stopped raining. I can hear the wipers squeaking. Where's the weather forecast? That's not good either, is it? That's not great. However, we're mostly downhill. That's not great. Alright, what have we got? We've got City South, Harbour. There's the steel mills. Okay. That's 1,200 tons. Well, 1,100 tons. 65k. It's pretty nice. That one and that one. That one goes to A6I. These two go to B3I. Now, the thing is about the steel mill is this is A, and A6I is a bit of a pain to drop into. So I wouldn't want that. We want jobs that we can drive straight through on, which is B, effectively. Which means we're not considering that one or these two here. And the other thing is, I think given that we are going up to the top tier military base, we're going to have to bite the bullet and buy military 3, because I think, if I remember, this military base here is where it spawns classified, and we might only be able to get classified. And I don't think there's a career manager thing there at the military base because it's not a station. I am guessing, but I think that's correct. So what I'm going to do is we're going to buy our top tier $400,000 license. This burns, guys. This burns. Look at this. Oh my word. So that cost 400 grand. It's put the copay up an insane amount and brought the deadline bonus down 5%. Which is, well, that is what it is. We're down to 500k. Hopefully we can get some of that money back. But what I think I want to do is take both of these, because they both go to B3I, which means we're going to be coming in from the north into Steel Mill. So B3I is here, so we can go left, left, right, left, left, right. Go straight into B3I, make the drop, carry on. It doesn't matter which order we pick these up. Any will do. Now, given the weight of that is 1,200 tons, that is basically a DE6 or 2 DH4. So I think what I'm going to do is take that extra DH4. Let me just turn that off and stop those squeaking wipers. Yeah, that's quite annoying, that squeak. We can kill the... Now, because I've slept, it's brake cuts everything in and out, isn't it? We are going to be brake cutting this one in this time. And we'll brake cut that one out, which it already is. We'll turn the handbrake off. Fuel level, that's not too bad. 3/4 of a tank, that's absolutely fine. We'll turn on the DE6 for now. And we'll get this thing turned around and I'll hook it up to that. And then I'll position us over here and we'll start picking up these loads. What I've done is I've hooked up on one of the jobs here with this DH4, which is a small job, which is the few cars, and then I've sent that around on its own. It's come back out the other side using the remote, and now what I'm going to do is send that up the hill a little bit, just over that bridge, put the brakes on, and then we'll drive this into the back and connect it all up, and we should then be good to reverse back onto the other job, the bigger one, and get out of here. That's the plan. So I reckon I can stop that there. It's a much nicer day today, but I think the forecast was rain, wasn't it? Which is a bit annoying. I need to get beyond this junction here with the whole thing. Actually, we need to move this forward. Let me just stop this here. I need to get the back of this beyond. Multitasking for the win. I'll stop that there. I think that's beyond. Okay, so we can now reverse. In fact, I don't even think I need to put much power in it. It'll just roll itself back, won't it? Reverse this thing back and get it connected. Right, that's everything hooked up. So now we start handing it in. We've got 93 minutes. I don't know if we're going to get the bonus on this, given that we're going to go to the military base first. But we'll see. I've got one of the DH4s running and the D6. There's a lot of weight here, and we've got to get up that gradient. And I also want to stop short just before that junction, because I want to disconnect, so that we can just go up to the military base with, well, probably a DA6 and a DH4, something like that. We'll see. Right, let's go forward. Get the power going. We're already on a down gradient, weirdly enough, according to this, but it'll very quickly become an up gradient. So what I'm looking to do is stop just before this merge point here, and then I'm going to take the locos and reverse the locos back into the military base, hopefully get something, pull it back forward, then reconnect the load to this load, and then take the whole thing. Is kind of the master plan. I don't know if it's going to work out, but we'll see. The first job is to get this most of the way up this hill. It may well be better if we'd have just left it on the flat and reversed the next load in so we could take a run up. If I struggle later to pick this stuff up on the hill, we'll have to do that. We'll have to sort of reverse it back and take a run up. But we'll see. it depends really on how heavy the stuff is at the military base, but we don't know that yet. Let's put the lights on. Right, I got a 2% gradient, so it pretty much lied about the gradient. No surprise there. Yeah, I'm sure that said 1.1, and it's anything but 1.1. It appears to be able to move it, it's not struggling with it. Okay, we just need to try and get the back of the locos just near this merge point here. Try and get as much of this load as we can up here. Because we will be coming back through here. Let's see if we can eyeball this. I reckon we stop there. May have overcooked that. Let me have a look. No, we're okay. We're okay. Right, so this lot is on a hill. Where's the handbrake? This lot is on a hill, so I'm going to put more than one handbrake on here because I do not want this lot rolling back. We've handed the job in, which means we're now responsible for it. And the reason I handed the job in was because if we don't, we've now technically left... I hate these cars. We've now technically left the area. So it would despawn this job if we now left. So we've got 1, 2, 3... I've got the first 4 cars, I've got the handbrakes on. So first of all, that should mean it doesn't roll away. And secondly, I need to remember that later when we come to undo the handbrakes. I need to remember how many I actually put on. So what we'll do now is we'll turn... I think we'll just roll us. Can this handle it? How heavy is this thing? 120 tons. Yeah, one of these can handle it. So we'll brake cut this in. We'll use this for power. We'll brake cut this thing in. Brake pipe's flashing, but that's fine. And we'll turn this off. Brake cut it out. Release that. Blue cables are connected. That tree moving really threw me then. Like, why did that tree just completely move? There we go. So, perfect. I'm really, really hoping that that doesn't roll away. If 4 handbrakes can't keep it from rolling, then I don't know what will. Just need to pull forward of this switch. That'll do us. Stick it in reverse. Now, what we can do is we can actually operate it from back... Good grief. Operate it from back here. There we go. Because that way we've got some visibility. So, because it's all connected via the blue cable, it doesn't matter where we are, but it's just easier to see what we're doing here. One of the things I do need to do is change this switch here, because we're now coming this way, and we want to go left into that military base. And if you actually have a look at the military base layout, we're going to be coming in, there's only one direction in, so we're going to go switch right, and then we'll pull up just before B. It's going to be some of these output lines is what we're after, but we don't know what we're dealing with. As soon as we get there, we'll see what we've got, see if we can get some classified stuff, hopefully paying some big bucks, and yeah, otherwise this has been a very expensive mistake. This is the drop down into the military base. I say drop because it is quite a steep drop. You just got to watch your speed when you come down here. There is a turntable, so if you do find yourself driving in forward with a locomotive, you can turn it around, as long as you don't have too many of them. But for what we're doing, I've already turned it around, and I couldn't easily have turned 3 of them around. It would have been a lot of shuffling stuff. It's doable, but, you know, we can turn it around before we get here. It's even easier. That is the office where you get your jobs from. Military base is here. That kind of tunnel over there. Let me just stop the train here. I want to stop before this B yard, really. That tunnel in there is where you unload. It's not shown on B, it's actually here. This is the loading base. So if you do bring a drop here, you can stop here, deliver it, and then it'll often ask you to unload it and put the cars back in the B yard. And there's a storage there. It can be a bit of a faff, but it does pay well around here. It really does. Let's have a look if we've got lucky. Let's see. There's a 100k job to the harbour. Classified. There it is. You see that? Classified. Military 3, Hazmat 3. Oh my god. Oh my god. I didn't get the Hazmat 3 license. How much is that? I bet we don't have the money. 290. Whew, okay. Fees not cleared. Oh, I'm using the... I'm used to using museum locomotives. Hang on a sec. Let me just stop that. Whack the handbrake on. I need to clear the fee on this so I can buy the license. Good grief. This, we're all in. Guys, we're all in here. There's nothing we can do. We can't not do it now. Every single license purchased. 290Ks. And another 300,000 on the copay. And another 5%. Oh, yeah, that's it. We're end game already. Licenses, fees. No fees for you. Licenses, we own every license. We're now unrestricted. Our copay is through the roof. Forget about it. If you crash, we haven't got the money. Game over. We are completely all in. There is a job to drop things off. So you can kind of see what kind of job you get. 27k. You can do better than that, trust me. There's a lot of empty cars here for 25. I can't be bothered with that. We're going to be taking these two. We won't be able to drop them off first. That's the kind of issue that we're going to have is that when we come through the steel mill... Oh, yes, we can. Yes, we can. I'm a genius. I'm a genius! I was about to say that this lot will be on the back of the train, but it won't. It won't be on the back of the train. Where are they going? B7I, both of them. See, that's absolutely perfect. So we're going to get them from B20 and B30. The only thing is, like I said, it will completely lie. B20 and 30 is there. It will completely lie about the weight of these. It will not be what is stated. So we'll get those. Okay, we'll set up. Just need to reverse in. And get these jobs. And we are good to go and collect our other job and get out of here. Right, that's it. Everything's loaded. I've not handed the jobs in yet, but we need to get a move on because the other job is currently ticking. So what I'll do is I'll start getting that moving. I've turned the DH4 off and just put the D6 on because I do not know how heavy these jobs are. And I'm not taking any chances, quite frankly. They're obviously heavier than the listed weight because the listed weight is a joke. It basically says 76 tons, which is just absolute nonsense. But yeah, D6 should be able to handle it. So now we'll just head back to the little junction and grab the rest of our train, and then we need to get out of here. So while we're doing this, we'll have a quick look at this diagram here. So obviously we're coming out of here. We're going to merge past through here. We're going to make sure we keep right through there. We're going to reverse back and grab the rest of that load. Then we're keeping right. We're going to go down through this military loop, and then we're going to hang a left as we come out the loop. We're then going to keep right. We don't want to go into Orwell North, and then keep right again into the steel mill. Then we're going to hang a left after the steel mill after we've dropped off. Keep left through there, left again, right, and then left down into the harbour. So we will need to set, for example, the steel mill. We're going to be going into, what was it? B3I for both of them? Yes, B3I for both of them. So we're going to be coming in from the north, keeping right into B. 3I is a left, right, left, right. That's into 3I. What else have we got to do? Got to manage our speed through here, steel mill, and then there's only the harbour, and the harbour itself is the military base. So with that, it's quite straightforward at the harbour actually. Put some more power in here. We've just got to keep left again, and then we're just going to be reversing back into B. The military drop-off for these is, let's see, B7I for both. Okay. So B7I is here. So as we're going to be coming in right, left to 7I. Okay. So that's it. I think we're pretty much set up. We're just going to hook up with the rest of our job, turn all the engines on, and get going. A lot of it will be downhill to, well, we've got to get to the steel mill. There's a climb up to the steel mill. After that, we should be able to turn off the DH4s and just run a DE6 down to the harbour. Here's the plan. Right, that is everything hooked up. 2 DH4s running. Some of the weight is down this side of the hill, some of it's down that side, so I think we should be okay. Most of this journey for now is downhill. Let's release the brakes. Yeah, we're starting to roll backwards, so a lot of it's actually at the back there, pulling us back down towards Iron Mine East. Oh, traction motors are, look at that, really struggling. Just let it get moving and then we'll bring the power in. So on the map we are currently just about here. So we'll be doing a right turn through this triangle, right turn, going down this loop, which is a bit of a pain, but it's all downhill. Left out of here, and then this is a long, slow climb. We've done this many times. And then into the steel mill. That's a high-speed section there. So I wouldn't say it's massively struggling, but you can see that there's a lot of weight. Now, in terms of length of stuff, we've got 234 meters of length there. If I just put that on to, what's that, 200, 1, 2, 3, let's call it 240. We've got another 54 or 55 meters. We'll call it 60 meters. We've got 70 meters there. And then we've got 50 odd meters there. Then we've got the length of 2 DH4s, which is about 26 meters, we'll call that 30. And then the length of this D6, which is about 20 meters-ish. So round about there, but let's just be safe and round up to 500. Right, now we can more or less power off because we've started our quite steep descent. A lot of this is managing speed down this loop. It's a drop all the way through all of this now, and there are sections of it that there are 40 Ks. You've just got to be careful. But with a dynamic brake, we should be okay. Well, we've got 1,200 tons, 250. Yeah, we've got a lot of weight here. Quite a lot of weight. Minus 1.8. We'll just get one notch of dynamic in and just get it all moving. The thing is about the D6 is when you engage its traction motors, you hear that clunk, which is probably like one of the relays kicking in, but there's a delay between you engaging either the drive or the dynamic, and it's better to have it in the position you want it to be in, because you can always increase it quite quickly. Look at this. Rapid descent. That will be the yellow lights coming on the DH4s. Now, the rented one doesn't have thermal cutouts on it, so that could get interesting. Let me go and quickly have a look at it. So this one's already limited massively. We're going to have to use the brakes. To use the brakes. The dynamic's gonna... We are strongly limited by the rented DH4, unfortunately. The museum one can handle itself with all the equipment on it, but what's going to happen is we're going to damage the traction motors on that rented DH4, and therefore cause quite a lot of damage. So it's not really worth doing that. We can use some dynamic, but not to the level that I'd like to. But this is the thing, is when you come out of the northeast corridor, this is what you have to face, is weight management, basically. Okay. The alternative is to just turn this thing off and disengage it completely, which I am tempted to do, actually, but we'll see. We'll see how we get on. Anyway, so this part of the world is quite nice. It's quite interesting. But we can actually see it now, whereas when it was raining, I couldn't really show it to you. But it is, it does have a few scenery glitches as well, I've noticed sometimes. It'll have trees on the track and bits of rock sticking up, but don't let that spoil it. It's actually quite a fun drive down here. You also get these random bits of rock texture that look a bit odd. See where it's been stretched? Also, you need to watch out for speed changes, because although it looks like a consistent loop, it really isn't. It'll suddenly give you, like, that bend there will be a reduction in speed, then it'll send you down a drop, then climb you back up, then drop you again. It can really try and catch you out if you're not careful. Like here, for example, where it's picking up a lot of speed. If you have a super long train, if I just go to this camera a second, if you have a super long train, this is the bottom of the loop here. And I've had a train where I've been here and I can actually see the back of my train, which is just fantastic when you do that. There you go, speed limit 60 and a reduction in speed coming up. We'll also put on the lights so we can see what's going on. Get a bit more brakes coming on. Okay, that's the traction motor temperatures on the DH4 kicking in. There's the 40 limit, that's what I was talking about with the sudden sharp reductions in speed. And when you come in the other way, you've got the opposite problem. You've got speed reductions and then steep climbs. If you want a challenge, this is the place to come. Now this is the 40 turn, so what I'm going to do is, when we've made that turn there, we're going to start our little... And we've got to keep it 40-45 until that breaks free. Yeah, look at that. Look at that view. Fantastic, isn't that? That's the food factory line down there. That's where we just came out of when we climbed up here. That's where we're going to go, that way, up to this steel mill. There you go. There's the scenery glitches I was talking about. Okay, are we free of that yet? Nope, back of the train's still not gone through it. 80 with a reduction in speed. Okay, perfect. Obviously, because it is basically going through a mountain, this is basically mostly tunnel with sections that come out and give you a nice view. This is where the clinometer, I find, really helps, because when you're in a tunnel like this, you have no idea if you're heading downwards or upwards. And that thing can really give you a steer on what's going on. And considering it doesn't even need to be wired in, you should perhaps think about getting one of these, you know, early in your playthrough. And just getting it mounted, because it's just generally quite useful. Okay, I'm just going to release the brakes. There you go. There's a scenery tree right there. Full on into the bridge. I think, if I remember, I'm sure the dev said these are dynamically generated, and honestly, I think I've seen this tree on this part of the track do that for 2 years. It's madness that it still does that. But it doesn't cause any damage, it's just a bit weird. Kind of freaks you out the first time. You think, am I going to get derailed? just going to put 1 notch of brakes in. I saw the 40 limit and I can see that we're going downhill. There you go, this bend here, 1.3 drop. But yeah, it all seems to be under control for now. Famous last words. Let me put another notch of brake in. See, that's not 1.3, is it? That was 2.5 then. Let's just see where we are. Yeah, there we go. So that's... We're coming up to the triangle shortly. We'll be expecting a left turn. So we just need to watch out for the switch setter. Make sure we got that right. I'm just going to start that. I don't know if the left turn's 40 or 50k. Okay, so that is the track that we were coming down when I showed you this loop here. So we've gone basically back under ourselves. It's just fake news, isn't it? Look at this. At what point did it say -3? Right, another 40 limit. May as well coast and save the fuel. I thought I'd show you this whole descent around this turn because it is one of those things that is... It's quite a tricky section of track. It really is kind of end game track, really. Particularly with a big load. It's a lot to handle. So I thought I'd show you the whole thing. There you go, that's where we were. You see how rapidly it just changes pace on you. 2.3 drop now. It challenges your ability to manage the descent. Okay, left turn set, 30 speed limit, which we received absolutely no warning about whatsoever. It just threw that on us at the very last second. Right, there we go. Let's just keep 2 notches with the dynamic going as well. That's our 30 limit, and that is the worst part of it, more or less over. We'll keep that at 30 odd until we break free. And that puts us here. So now it's the usual run up to the steel mill that I think we've seen before. There you go, back of the train's just coming through that junction, as expected from this. And I think at that point we can release a dynamic brake. Release all the brakes. And I believe I saw a 60 limit, did I not? Lovely. Right, first drop coming up. We're into 3i, the steel mill. And most of our consist is going to get dropped here, certainly the really heavy stuff. So we need to drop and turn off 2 of the DH4s, is the plan. So if I just quickly run down here, get to the back of our train. I'm looking to basically get... Let's get a brake going here. This is where I want to separate it from these military cars here, so I'm just going to jump back on there. Ooh, radioactive sign. Lovely. Classified, eh? Classified but radioactive. Right, there's the board marker. It's not a particularly long load, I don't think, so I think anywhere here should pretty much do it. Lovely. And then we'll quickly get this handed in. We have got 2 jobs, haven't we? So let's just make sure we use the whole length, because I don't want to have to move this again. I think that's going to do us nicely. Right, where's the handbrake? These stupid cars. Why does the handbrake have to be there? So annoying. Right. Let's disconnect that. Quickly run down to the station. And we're looking to hand in this job, which should get us about, what's about 90k. This one gets about 30k, so we're looking at most 120k. That is within the limits, that's fine. Yep, 98, that'll do. $28, that'll do. Anything that wants to go to the harbour that we might want to take with us for a bit of free money. Maybe that one weighing 1,000 tons, just swap that out. That's in B40, isn't it? B40. Is there a better one than that? Right, I'm going to do what I don't normally do, which is hand this job in straight away. And we're going to pull forward and get ourselves set up for B40. I'm going to leave those engines turned on. Let's have a quick look at this. So we're going to come in from 40, it's going to be here. I need to let the train clear that though. It should be a fairly quick reverse this. 20 is there. I think this is it here. Yep, there's 40. So we can stop that there. And back that up. Now, what it'll probably mean I'll do is I'll disconnect, because I need to get that military stuff in pretty sharpish. That's the one that's the high value. And this will now be on the back of the train, so I'll probably disconnect this and then, you know, as we come into the harbour, and then just hand the military and then drag this off, rather than drop this first and risk not getting our bonus on the military. But on the way up to the military, we spent a lot of money on licenses and not earning getting up there, so if we can earn some cash back here... Oh, you scumbag. If we can get some cash back here, that'll be great. Okay, throttle off. Oh, all that from a misclick. Come on. Game! Connect. Connect, please be here. Yes. Lovely. Right, let's hope. Let's those brake releases. Let's hope we have got enough oomph to get all of this up there. We should do. 1D6 could, in theory, be able to handle that. Brakes are still releasing. Really long brake line, so just give it some time. Okay, that's looking good. Normally I would reverse back and take a little run up, but we haven't got the time, so I'm just going to go for it, try and bring the power in as quickly as I can. Just watching that basically. As it comes back, just bring more power in. Try and get as much momentum as we can before the hill really kicks in. That's a gear change. There we go. Now we're just going to listen out for that traction, that temperature, because that will be the DH4 basically going into its yellow zone. It's looking good so far. So what have we got? We've got a 1,000 tonner, 300 meters. But yeah, hopefully that is a straightforward run. Down to the military base. Where's that going? That's going to E8I at the harbour. So down at the harbour, that's going to be in the E yard. So what I'll probably do is I'll stop here, disconnect the steel off the back, pull forward, reverse that in, drop the military, come back, take that down to the E yard. Would be my plan. E8I. Set that up. Right, 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 left. Okay, I think we're good. Right, we're on the approach into the harbour, and there's been a few spots of rain. I think the rain was forecast, wasn't it? It's definitely misting over. And I need to manage my speed down this hill on a wet track, and then I need to stop just before that left turn, basically. Well, actually, I don't need to stop just before the left turn. I need to stop the steel just before that red turn, left turn. I've got maximum dynamic on. I turned the DH4s off, just got the DE6 running now, which it can easily handle the dynamic brake without overheating. In fact, it looks like it's managing the load completely with the dynamic brake. That's insane. Okay, yeah, it's starting to give up now. This is going to be a tricky stop just because of the wet track. Okay, it's 40. That should light up any second. I'm going to start slowing it down, I think. I need to get some speed shaved off before this bend. I'm going to have to turn off the dynamic because I won't be able to control it from the remote. There we go, got it under control. Right, let's jump out here. There's still a heck of a lot of weight on that slope. Okay, I think I'm going to stick the brakes on early. I'd rather undershoot that than overshoot it. Okay, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. Just because there's 1,000 tons on that slope. And I do not want it rolling into me. So better safe than sorry. I don't know how much stopping power those handbrakes have, but hopefully that's enough. Right, you stay there. And all we've got to do is pull forward and reverse into the military base, and it's payday. That rain's really starting to come down now. But we're here. We're on the flat, so we don't care. Lovely. Whatever's in there, radioactive waste or depleted uranium rounds, I don't know what it is, I don't care. As long as I get paid. Wahee! There we go. Right. You can get moving. The sun's coming down, look at that. Just about outsprint that. Okay, 100k, so we're expecting 150, assuming we did that right. With no penalties. Oh, look at that. 154 grand. Absolutely lovely. And 117 grand. Oof. That's brought the numbers up nicely. Okay, just gonna go get that and drag that over to E, and we are done. Right, that's the steel dropped off. I pulled all the way forward, as you can see. We've got plenty of room in the back. Handbrakes on the front car. Remember, this was a job that we took as a bonus job. This was not part of the plan, so far as I'm concerned, this is free money. This will basically pay, well, more than pay for the bills to get here. I suspect we won't have more than about 30 grand's worth of bills, and this particular job alone will pay 75-ish. So, fantastic. Happy days. It's been quite a big run, this. We've done quite a lot in this episode. But I think it's been worth it. Let's have a look. Yeah, look at that. 72k. Fantastic. Where are our fees? Our fees are on the DH4 that we hired at 8k, so we're going to take that to service yard. Service everything up. Just to remind you, we now have every single license, so we don't need to worry about that. This video has been long enough. I need to stop here. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Take care. Happy training.